So I just got off the phone with a couple of advocates here across the country who are discussing with others the idea of what police are doing, going on adult-only dating sites, hookup sites, whatever you want to call them, and expressing no interest in children, but ending up being arrested nonetheless for supposedly soliciting children. Well, how does that work? Well, what we're finding over and over again is that police are going on there on sites where people are known to be looking only for adults. They're looking for adults on an adult site. That's where you find them. Now, they're claiming that when pressed, the police are saying, well, we're on there because we know sometimes children are on there. Well, one research study I read said less than 5% of the traffic on there is eventually a child. But be that as it may, why aren't they focusing then on impeding those children, locating them, and getting them off that site as I attempted to do? Why aren't they doing that? Well, because that's not really what they're there for. They're not there to rescue children at all. And they know fully that they're on there to entrap men who have shown no predilection toward going for children to begin with. After all, they went on an adult-only site. And police very often will not put the age on that site. Why? Well, you expect to find adults only on an adult-only site. That's why. But later on, after claiming to be an adult and engaging in adult-like conduct, they switch it up after varies, but it's usually many dozen messages, and then they say that they are a child. And if you don't immediately disengage, they come after you. It's not exactly directly because they want to reel you in, so they suggest some weird combinations, such as I'm a mom who's looking for a younger tutor, and then it comes out they want to train the daughter or have sex with the nephew or whatever the nonsense is that they're running. And again, you're not allowed to be surprised. You're not allowed to question it. You're not allowed to ask what they're doing. And you're not allowed to rely on, apparently, your own wits, like many people do. I've heard trolls say, well, you've seen the Chris Hansen stuff. You should know immediately disengage. People know that there's crimes around too, but they're still victims of crime, right? People know things, but they still nevertheless fall victim to it, and very often it isn't their fault. Sometimes it is, but very often it isn't their fault. The courts certainly understand that, but they don't seem to understand this. And part of it is we don't explain it well enough to them, how these sites actually work versus how the police attempt to pervert it to work in a different way. Remember, the idea doesn't come from the unwary, innocent subscriber to these sites. No, it comes from the police. No subscriber is saying, hey, now you're looking for children, I'm looking for younger, and then you get them and you find that they're trying to persuade you in some way. That rarely happens. What's happening instead is police are working overtime to create the mens rea, that is the crime in the mind of the person. And how are they doing that? By suggesting it, by going on and on talking about it, by saying, well, you only get me if you get this person. And if you say no, constantly say no, and you disagree with you say, well, I think you're lying, I'm going to go find out, I'll meet you somewhere and find out, you get arrested. There's no predilection for that sort of attempt to have sex with children. That's not what it's about oftentimes. But what you'll see is that police will continue to conduct that when they know full well that you had no interest in doing that. And the question is why? Why do they keep doing that? Well, because it works. No court has reined them in. Because they're able to get enough buy-in to claim you're doing it. But the question still remains, are you doing it? Are you there to look for children? If you weren't, why are they coming after you and doing that? That's the scheme. And the public should be extremely worried, because if they win at this enough times, they're going to be doing entrapment and other things. If it pays off in federal grant money and other matters, they will continue to do that. I have yet to have a troll or somebody disagrees with me explain to me why it's okay for police to do this. And the reason is they say, well, any way that police so-called save kids is okay with us. Well, it's not okay because A, they're not saving kids, and B, they're violating somebody's rights, and they're making up stories that aren't actually true in order to create a scenario that the person never wanted, because again, they were on an adult sex or hookup or dating site for that express purpose, and they don't indicate anywhere else where they're interested in children.